Yeah, hi everybody. Welcome to another episode of Latte with a Lawyer. I'm your host, Jonathan Brickman, and this afternoon, evening for me, but afternoon for the West Coast people, we have John Gomez, and this is his law firm, Gomez Trial Attorneys. Welcome to the show, John.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Now you're a big name guy, so we're really excited to have you on the show and listen to your story. Just to kick off the show, to keep with our theme, Latte with a Lawyer, how do you get started during the day? What's your morning beverage of choice?
Alarm goes off at about 3:40. I'll come out, get some coffee going. Then I meditate. I do transcendental meditation, pray a little bit, hit the Bible a little bit, a little more reading. And then I'll usually find some form of exercise in the morning. That's usually, I'll do early hot yoga. Sometimes I'll go to the gym. Sometimes I'll go to a 7 o'clock jujitsu, in the morning. So that's basically my morning routine.
Nice. What time do you get up in the morning? What time do you get started?
3:40 is the normal time. On a weekend, yeah, on a weekend it might be I don't know, 4:35.
Wow. Why so late in the morning?
Why I sleep in so much? I don't know, man. It's just being lazy.
Oh man. So I knew you're an athlete. I was reading your background. So you want to be a football player. You got hurt though. Tell me about that.
Yeah, I mean, I did play through college. Coming out of high school, I got hurt my senior year, and so I had to start at a junior college. And then I went up to San Diego State. I got hurt again in spring football, so I ended up at a smaller school, the University of San Diego, and that's where I finished playing football.
Got it. What was your position?
I was a natural safety, but I played some linebacker too.
Oh, nice. Excellent.
Yeah.
Good deal. Well, you probably in your practice you do TBI cases, right?
Yeah, I do some of those.
Banged around.
I did a fair number of NFL concussion cases too.
Yeah.
Yes. But I let my kid play football, that's for sure.
You are not letting your kid play football.
100% yes.
Yes.
Yes. Even having done the cases, the guys with the problems for the most part are playing in the SEC and then, in the NFL. My kid's playing in high school. I think he's going to be fine.
Yeah. It's funny. There was a guy when I lived in Bethesda, Maryland. He started a business to create a sensor. It's called Brain Sensory, and he had a partnership with an ex-professional football player. But it didn't stop the concussion, but it let you know when you really got your bell rung. So it would light up.
Oh gosh, I feel like I could tell when I got my bell rung.
Yeah, no, of course you could, but listen, we're macho, right? I mean, I played football as a kid. You don't want to get off the field, right? You want to keep playing.
Definitely.
So anyway, it's funny. They didn't accept it. They did not want to use it, right? Because it was like counterculture kind of stuff.
No, because you would have to pull guys, even if they didn't have any symptoms or effects. If you had a hard enough contact, you'd have to pull guys, and it'd probably open up liability. And just from my world, it'd probably be a helpful tool.
Yeah. Anyway, interesting. So all right, so personal injury is your firm. Is there any particular flavor of PI that you work on?
I would say we work on everything. In addition to just straight PI, we do employment cases, we do mass tort cases, and so really anything that involves the potentiality of ending up in a trial, we'll do.
Okay.
And so we have a PI practice that goes from the smaller cases all the way up to the very large cases. And I think we've had particular expertise doing some brain injury cases, CRPS cases, wrongful death cases, the typical stuff.
Is there anything that you like more than others?
I don't think so. I like new stuff. So, I just tried a CRPS case this year. I had not tried one of those.
Yeah.
It's interesting because it's new. I'm going to be trying more and more employment cases. Those are interesting because they're new. I would love to try, a major business case. So to me, just like new stuff is interesting and test my brain.
Got it. Interesting. Okay, good. Why'd you become a lawyer? I mean, take me through that. Like, how did you even get here?
Yeah, I had a roommate in college who was a friend of mine I met when I was in junior college. And he was at the time going to Stanford Law School. So he was like a summer roommate of mine. And he was working at a law firm. And we lived at the beach. I was going to my senior year. And this guy was getting paid a ton of cash, would get home super early, felt like he never worked. They had all these social activities. They had a softball team. And I was like, man, what a great gig this looks like. I want to be a lawyer. And so that's how I
And that's how you
decided.
decided?
Yeah. It was like no great story of, any kind of idealistic thing. It just seemed like a good lifestyle.
Oh, got it. Anyone in your family, lawyers?
Nah, zero. Like nobody in my family, nobody I knew. I never knew a lawyer my whole life.
What's your background like? How'd you grow up?
My dad was in the Navy. And so that's how we ended up in San Diego.
Okay.
We would move from like California to East Coast all the time. And then my parents split up and just grew up. We moved around a lot, pretty economically challenged.
Okay. That gave you the drive. My dad was in the Navy. He got thrown off the ship. He had rheumatic fever.
Oh,
And,
wow.
and so he
Wow.
he was
Yeah.
discharged. Yeah.
Oh, gosh. Yeah.
It was funny. He used to tell me the stories like back then, I think he boxed. He boxed on the ship. He said he wasn't a good boxer. They would knock him down, but he'd always get back up.
They have those. They would have
They
those
still do
smokers.
that?
Yeah, they still have those smokers. Like, and I think they would have like probably, they have Marines on those ships a lot if you're on like a carrier or something.
Yeah.
So the Marines would fight the Navy guys or the aviators would fight whatever. Yeah, that was a big part of it. I boxed too. I boxed and got a lot of concussions doing that too.
Yeah. It doesn't seem to bother you though. You're doing okay.
Well, I had to quit like because I was doing it when I was a little bit older, and we'd spar on Fridays, and I would come back to the office all concussed and like not really with it, and people are like, that's why I do jujitsu now.
Ah, very good. That's just jujitsu looks cool. That's just wrestling, right? Grappling.
Yeah, it's like basically submission wrestling.
Okay. But the Navy actually is technically, or is it the other way around, part of the Marines? Aren't they part of the same?
Yeah, in theory, I think they're both under the Department of Navy.
Yeah.
Um, I don't think the Marines would like to say they're part of the Navy,
Right.
but they both are in theory.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Like right here in San Diego, we have Top Gun.
Yep.
Miramar Naval Air Station is now a Marine Corps station. So like all of the aviators, like with the I don't know what they're flying now, F-17s or whatever, are all Marine aviators now. So there's a lot of crossover for sure.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah, I have friends who live in Coronado and also in northern San Diego. I used to go out there quite a bit. Coronado, I know it's got some famous places over there.
Yeah, they got
McPee's.
They got the SEAL training right there. They got the Buds training, and then they got the Hotel del Coronado, of course.
There you go. Have you read? You probably like this. You probably know him, David Goggins. Have you read his book?
Know him very well. Well, I don't know him personally, but I know his books and his teachings very well.
Yeah, I was at a brother's house and I saw the book and I picked it up. I said, "Can I take this?" I took it home. I couldn't put the thing down. You can't hurt me. It was a great book.
That's a great book.
Right?
It's a funny thing because we give that book to each of our new clients. They get that book.
Really
It
interesting.
seems apropos, right? Like, because they've suffered like an injury. And the lesson of the book is you really can't touch me. You can't hurt me. I'll overcome. And so a lot of them really love it.
Oh, interesting. So is that kind of like the mission or like what drives you in your firm?
Uh, you know, hopefully, I think like a lot of those life lessons are good lessons. We have core values at the firm,
Mm,
and we're always kind of, pushing mentality. But that book in particular, like we just feel like it's helpful to our clients.
yeah, interesting. Is there any like really memorable case that you worked on that would be worth sharing that sort of stands out?
Man, I worked on a lot of cases. I think probably the one that jumps off the page is I represented a CHP officer by the name of Mark Saylor, who was in a Lexus vehicle that accelerated out of control on a freeway here. He was in the vehicle with his family, and he places a 911 call, so it's recorded at the time that they hit the end of the freeway at like 100 and something miles an hour, and it jumps in the air and they all die. But it started the largest recall in Toyota history for this unintended acceleration, like a big, huge litigation. In that case, his case was really the lead case for that entire movement.
Was that a mass tort?
It ended up being a mass tort. Like all the cases obviously were, coordinated.
Yeah.
But all the cases were at the same time a little bit different.
Okay. Interesting. I imagine that was a big settlement, big verdict.
That was a large recovery.
Yeah, yeah. And that was a jury trial.
Didn't go to trial. We settled with Toyota, and then we felt like the better case was against the dealer. And the case with the dealership resolved right before we were about to start trial up in Los Angeles.
Okay. How often do you get in the courtroom? I imagine you like that. You probably like to go to trial.
Yeah, it's really the hallmark of our firm. And so in a normal year, like without COVID and COVID delays, me personally, I'm shooting for like 5 to 7 times a year.
Okay.
So that's probably what I'll hit this year. We're thankfully a little bit back to normal.
Oh, good.
And then, my lawyers all are super empowered to try cases. And again, we're pulling out of COVID. Like in a normal year, like 2024, I think my firm will probably try, 15 to 20 cases, I think.
Okay. How do you make that decision, like to go to trial or not, or try to settle?
Well, I feel like most of the time the defense, makes the decision for us. They offer us zero or next to nothing, or, what we believe is less. And then, we always do what our clients want. So like if the client wants to try the case, we'll try the case. And then otherwise there's just some really nice, we feel like if we have a good client, over time, I've come to the agreement with a lot of people that, if we have a really great client, then that's going to be the driver. And a lot of times, like a insurance company or a defense lawyer might not value that case as highly as we think it should be, valued. So, I would say a combination of all those factors.
Yeah. I mean, so I've been to a lot of these events, TLU and, NTL and all these associations. And there's all kinds of theory about like, how to win the case, how to maximize the value, et cetera. What do you guys use? What's your approach and methodology?
Well, like in terms of like, schools of trial advocacy,
Yeah.
I went to Jerry Spence's Trial Lawyers College. I
Okay.
got a little bit out of me. I'm like a super big fan of Mark Lanier and the things that he does.
Did you go to that event? I was just there in Houston.
I didn't go this year because I was in trial, but like I just feel like that it's like sitting at the, Mount Sinai. It's like at the foot of God, like I feel like that guy's the best.
Yeah, he's really
So
amazing.
whatever he says, I like to do. I don't know, like in terms of just getting big dollars, I think just, adopting a big dollar mindset. I feel like every time I go into a trial, I feel like pretty much, unless it's a disastrous case, we're going to do really well. And I feel like a lot of that's just mindset and belief. And, I don't know, we work a lot on the front end in terms of framing the case, and we have to do a lot of stuff. But I think it's a mindset. Like I can tell, I feel like there are lawyers that for whatever reason, I feel like it's going to be very difficult. I don't know, for them to really, because they're just not big dollar people. I don't know. They don't think it, they don't feel it, they don't project it, they don't live it. And I just feel like, that's our, how we are day in, day out. Like that's our fabric.
So, I mean, you must be setting the tone for the firm, right?
Yeah, I think so. Like, we do a lot of in-house trainings, presentations. I've got a lot of new lawyers in my firm, so I'm going to try cases with them to kind of give them like a direct kind of, tutorial. We have requirements if you try a case, like in terms of, numbers of focus groups, or like, you have to do this many, actual mock opening statements, you have to have these things done this far in advance. Like in California, we get a mini opening,
Right.
which is like super important. So we really like work hard on that.
Wait, so mini opening is, I mean, so most states do not use that mini opening approach?
Yeah, you get like 3 to 5 minutes before jury selection begins. And it's the first thing the jury hears,
Okay.
first thing you say, and then that really frames the jury selection. So I think it's a super important part of the case that a lot of people will like last minute it. And, we're a lot more focused, a little more conscientious about it.
Yeah, yeah. And you focus group those to test them?
The mini openings, not so much the mini openings, actually. We'll work with our jury consultant on some language and stuff, but we'll focus group. And I'm not going to say like we won't, at least to date, we haven't like done like big data set focus groups of opening statements or, but we'll focus group the issues and the facts, and then we'll do actual mock openings largely internally to the firm, just for feedback there.
Yeah. How big is your firm? How many people you have now?
We have about 100 all in. So about, I think right now, 27 lawyers.
Okay, it's a big firm. And
Yeah.
and are you the sole manager? Or do you have other people helping to manage the operation?
Yeah, I have a lot of other people helping manage.
Okay.
I'm not that great at it.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, I try, I have vision, I have ideas.
Yeah.
I'm a good raw guy, but in terms of the particulars, I definitely have other people helping.
Okay, interesting. So you have like a marketing person, chief operating officer, that type?
Yeah, like accounting, human resources, information, technology, marketing, all those things.
Yeah, it's good. No, I mean, listen, you're a good sized business. You're running it like a business, right?
Yeah, like more so every day. Like every year, I discover like leakage and inefficiencies and things I should have done 10 years ago. But like, like I really feel like for the first, our firm's been around now 18 years. I would say for the first 15 years, we would just go trial to trial, verdict to verdict, and live or die based on that. And I just was like a terrible business person. And COVID shut us down with trials. I couldn't try cases, so I was like, okay, I'll work on the business a little bit. So in a sense, thank gosh for COVID.
Yeah, right. Exactly. Something came out of it. That's good.
Yeah.
What's the goal? How big you want to become?
I don't know, like, because obviously with growth comes challenge. I do believe that in today's evolving market, it's important to occupy a lot of real estate. And so, I've talked historically about probably, tripling from what I'm at now, but who knows? Like maybe I've got a really good group right now. I really like them. I know we'll do super well. Maybe we tap the brakes a little short of that ultimate number. Or, you look at like a guy like John Morgan, who's developed a national practice and, having success even in trial now, like building out his trial practice, that's an admirable model,
Oh yeah.
I don't think I'm not going to get there, but something, he basically says grow or die, and I don't disagree with that.
Right. Yeah, he's an interesting fellow. I was in his office for about 2 hours one day.
He's a cool guy. He's helped me out a little bit.
Oh, good. And he must be in your market too, I would imagine, right?
Yeah, I see his commercials, I see him, he comes on the radio and
Yeah.
I see him, yeah, of course he's in my market, he's in every
Yeah.
market.
He is.
Well, okay, so I'm always so pleased to see him too. I look forward to seeing his smiling face.
Yeah. That's funny. Um, yeah, no, he's an interesting guy. I know he's done quite well. His story is really interesting too, where he
Yeah,
started.
yeah, that's a good book. Like that's one of my favorite books, Can't Teach Hungry. And then which is his first law firm management book. And then he wrote one, Can't Teach Vision, which is basically about, new markets, new practice areas to think about. And then there's a book, Fireproof,
Yep.
um, which is a great book too. Like, a lot of really great teachers of law firm management out there.
Yeah, that's what's his name in Detroit? Fireproof. He started a fireproof business.
Yeah. No, it's he's uh he has a consulting
Right.
business where they'll like help out, and they've actually been super helpful to me
Oh, good.
uh, in terms of that. Yeah.
Oh, excellent. Good. So what would your advice be for someone who is starting out? What would you tell them about going to law school, and what advice would you give them?
I would tell them, like there's a lot of, oh, don't be a lawyer, don't go to law school. It's not that great. I totally disagree. I think it's the greatest job in the world. Within the professions, like I feel like medicine has really is to me not as attractive as it once was, due to kind of corporate influence and HMOs and all that stuff. So law, like, what are your alternatives? Unless you're like a genius, you're going to invent something, or you're a great athlete, or you're like some kind of, music savant. Like, what else are you going to do? Like, and it's a job where you don't have to work for a big company and march in lockstep. You can kind of define, your career the way you want it and be the way you want. So to me, it's a great job. You can have a very great living for your family. You can do it for a long time. I plan on doing it into my 70s. You're not going to break your body down. So to me, you use your mind. It's very interesting. You help people. So I think it's a great job. My advice would be to do it. And then, after, you graduate from law school, I mean, first piece of advice about law school, it doesn't really matter. So don't get all caught up in everybody like gets so paranoid and anxious about law school, including me when I was there.
Yeah.
I went to Yale Law School. I went to like,
You went to a
supposedly
famous law school. Yeah. What was that like?
nobody gives a damn.
Yeah.
Like not one juror has ever wondered, or nobody cares. The clients don't care, the jurors don't care. I don't think the judges care. And they certainly don't care what kind of grades I got or if I was on law review.
Right.
So like I would say, like, don't get caught up in that. Just define what you want to do and then just work really hard to be the very best at that. Like just really, really get good at what you do. And the rest will take care of itself. Just find something you really love and just work really hard and get really good. Be nice to people, and it's a great job.
Yeah. Excellent. Good deal.
Yeah.
What do you think the traits are? Like, you're a successful guy, and you got a bunch of lawyers. What are the qualities that make
Yeah,
somebody?
I think
Yeah.
the more I've had bad employees, bad lawyers, good lawyers. For sure, the defining quality of a good lawyer, a successful lawyer, is a work ethic, like just without question.
Yeah.
Like that defines. And you could say the same thing, I think, about like an athlete, right? I mean, there's people with athletic talent, but if they don't grind, they're never going to be any good. And the law in particular demands like commitment. And so if I have lawyers that work hard and have good attitudes and want to learn and improve, they're going to be great.
Yeah. It's funny that you mentioned it. I was going to say that, to me, being an athlete or in sports translates to law to business, right? There's a lot of the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a salesperson, right? So I always love people that came from sports for sales. It's the same competitive, you got to work hard, stay with it.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And we put up, they all have, there's a scoreboard, like, so they're
Okay.
all competing. And like, especially my athletes, like those guys are gunning, man. They always want to be at the top of the board. So that's a good quality. So I'll add that competitiveness.
There you go. Yeah. It's funny. Certain types of people, and that type you're describing, they like the scoreboard. They like to see their name up there when they do well, right?
Yeah. And if they don't like it, it means they suck.
There you go.
Like, they want to be invisible. And
Right.
so that's probably not who you want on your team.
Right. Excellent. Are you an early adopter of, you said you like new things, but you like to try new technologies, techniques, stuff like that?
Yeah, I think we're always like really on the cutting edge of, I think, advocacy as much as we can be. Technology, we're trying to get better. We just brought in house for the first time, technology manager. I think we have some work to do on like artificial intelligence and optimal use of that.
Okay.
But like as we go forward, that'll be a big push of ours, is really to be at the forefront of that.
Got it. Okay, good. That's good to hear. Excellent. Well, listen, this is good. I'll let you, maybe you got to work out it, or you're going to have dinner. I don't know what you're going to do, but
Yeah, like I just got I got a baby here. We have like a 14-month-old. And so once she goes to bed, then we'll probably have a glass of wine.
Oh, nice. How many kids you have? So,
I got 4 kids. I got a 16-year-old boy, 14-year-old boy girl twins, and a 14-month-old.
wow. Any future lawyers there? We'll let the 14-month figure it out, but
Yeah.
what the other ones?
They're starting to talk about the 16-year-old and the 14-year-old boys are both talking about, they just want to run my firm. They just want to step right into it. I'm like, well, got to do a little bit of work before you step into like a,
There you go.
national firm. Like
Right. Exactly.
I had to like grind to get this thing built, man. You just can't have it, but
Yeah.
we'll give him a nice spot.
Yeah. You remind me of a little bit. I had him on here too, is Daryl Isaacs.
Oh
Daryl?
yeah. I'm in a mastermind. He helps me in terms of I'm in a mastermind group with him, and so he helps coach up the business.
Okay. Yeah.
Great guy.
Yeah. Nice guy. Really nice guy. All right. Well, good deal. Any last words, parting words, advice, words of wisdom, or anything you want to leave for the audience?
I would just say, look, like if you're a lawyer, it's a long career, it can be long. You can have great success over a long time if you take care of yourself, like physically, spiritually, keep your family in good shape, at least like try and, really enjoy your family and the time with them. And so just stay healthy, like I think law can, as we know, pull you into a lot of addictive behavior. You can engage in maybe some self-indulgent behavior. Like, but in long term, that's gonna knock you down, like take years off, like you're not gonna be happy. So, just like for me, I just try to like be healthy, try to be spiritually sound, try and be as good of a family guy as I can be. And that's a recipe for, like, to me, sustained happiness and success.
Excellent. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Anyway, for everybody, again, John Gomez with Gomez Trial Attorneys, and this is sponsored by EmotionTrac, which is a legal tech platform. You probably heard of us, and we help trial attorneys get ready for mediation in trials with our Insights platform. Thanks again, John. I really appreciate the time. It's nice to get you on here.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for taking the time. I appreciate you having me.
You bet.